welcome to Bookish Blonde. My name's Jen. So today's video, I want to talk a little bit about my love for detective mysteries, police procedurals. I was browsing my shelves this morning, trying to plan a completely different video. And I started realizing like how many #1 books I have in different detective, police procedural type series. So I kind of wanted to stop in today and just kind of tell you about some things on my shelf that kind of fall into that category. I mean, from when I was a kid, my love for Nancy Drew to, I read, I think like 12 or 13 of Alex Cross, James Patterson series. I also really love Karin Slaughter. I have read all of the Grant County series with Sarah Linton. There's 6 in that series, and I am obsessed with that series, and it does a crossover with Will Trent. I think there's number 12 of Will Trent comes out this summer, I believe. I've read only like 4 of Will Trent's, but total that's 10 of her series. Also, Linda Castillo has a great series. I think there's like 16 in it. I've only read 7. I think the 16th one comes out this year as well, and the detective in there is Kate Burkholder. So those take place in an Amish setting. So that was a really interesting. They're also great on audio as well. So those are kind of some that I've read, that I'm into, that I'm enjoying. But let's talk about, I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, I have 7 here today. #1 of new to me detective procedural type series. So let's just get started. This first one is by Christina McDonald, These Still Black Waters. We're following a detective, Jess Lambert, in this series. We have a violent home invasion where Neve McGuire returns with her daughter to Black Lake, which is her childhood summer home, hoping for a fresh start. But when the body of a woman is found floating among the reeds in the lake behind her house, she fears she has made a horrible mistake. Neve is hiding secrets, though, and Detective Jess Lambert can tell. Recently, back after her own personal tragedy, Jess knows what it's like to live with skeletons in your closet. So another woman's body is found, and it goes from there. I don't want to read more. I have read 2 books by Christina McDonald that were standalones, and I really enjoyed her writing. She does a lot of the 2 I've read, and this one also has a mother and daughter, but the 2 I read that loved were mother and daughter relationships. The Night Olivia Fell, which was a mystery that actually made me cry. That one I gave 5 stars, I believe. And then Believe Every Lie is another one I enjoyed. I think I gave that one 4 stars. So I already know I like the writing. I already know I like the author. So I'm excited to check out something new by her and see what she does with a whole detective series. The #2 in this one is coming out in July. And in March, there's going to be like a novella 1.5 that's going to come out. But it's like a little bit of a prequel to this story. So that sounds really cool. So that's one of my choices. What's interesting too, you guys, is I think 6 out of 7 of these are female detectives. And that's not on purpose. I just thought that was kind of interesting when I was looking at these. This one is a male lead, I believe, male detective. So this one is No Strangers Here by Carlene O'Connor. This is the County Kerry Mystery, #1. This detective series, we're following Detective Inspector Cormac O'Brien, and it takes place in Ireland. This is #1. There's 2 out currently in this series, and in this one, we start off by finding a 69-year-old, very wealthy racehorse owner posed looking out at the ocean, and he is dead, and there are 69 polished black stones and an empty vial of veterinarian medicine. And so that's kind of where you pick up, I believe. There's another character that has left this town for whatever reasons and comes back to kind of clear her family name. So I'm not sure how she's involved, but I don't want to know. I kind of want to go in just blind, but I love books that take place in Ireland. So that's kind of what made me pick this up. It was also a buy one, get one 50% off at Barnes & Noble. So I'm always a sucker for that sale. Okay, the next one I want to talk about is 9 Elms by Robert Bryndza. There's #5 comes out in June. This is the first one. We are following Kate Marshall. She's a detective in this series, and she caught a notorious serial killer. But the case kind of destroyed her a little bit, so she it picks up in the current present day where she is a lecturer at a small university, but what brings her back into the investigation is a copycat killer. So this actually is a really pretty book. I want to show you guys this one. This naked cover on this, you guys, is gorgeous. Look at that. The back is that way too. I actually heard about this on Audrey's Chapter and Converse on her channel. I believe she's read it and enjoyed it. So this is a Kate Marshall thriller, #1. So there's 5 in this series, or 5's coming out this summer. Okay, in the Dancing Girls, we are following Detective Joe Fournier. This is book 1. I believe there are 8 in this series. And in this one, we find a shy and loving wife murdered in her own home, missing her wedding ring, and posed like a ballerina. So as Detective Joe Fournier starts digging into the case, she finds out that there are some connection to some cold cases and that have the same strangulation marks. And so you kind of follow it from there. She tries to get the FBI involved, and the FBI does not take her seriously. So Joe kind of starts investigating these crimes on her own, out of her jurisdiction. So I like that she kind of goes rogue a little bit. I think that will make this really interesting. Funny enough, the 3rd book in this series is the 3rd highest rated book on my Goodreads for my owned TBR. So the only 2 I own that are rated higher than this are Sarah J. Maas' House of Earth and Blood, Crescent City, the first in that series, and also Ariel Lawhon's new one, The Frozen River. So book 3 in this series is my 3rd highest rated of my own TBR. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So yeah, so that's where we pick up on that one. This one sounds really good too. I'm going to say that with all of them. All right, the next one is by Terri Parlato, All the Dark Places. This one I also heard about on Audrey's channel, A Chapter and Converse. She's my go-to girl for dark and messed up people doing dark and messed up things. And this is Dark Places, so it's all coming together. This one takes place in Boston, and you're following a very seasoned, decades. She's worked as a Boston PD detective. Her name is Rita Myers, and so that's our main lead in this book. There are 2 out in this series. This is the first one. We have a winter setting in January. The cover gives me all the creepy, spooky vibes too. So we have a 40th birthday of Jay, and Jay has some of his friends over, and he's a psychologist or psychiatrist, I can't remember, and they're all together celebrating his birthday. There's about 6 friends, and the next morning his wife, Mary, I believe, his wife Molly finds him dead, and his throat is brutally cut, and he's found dead in his home office. So that's all I want to know. I think the detective, Rita Myers, is pretty convinced it's got to be someone from the night of the party. So that one sounds really good. All right, next one is by M.J. Arlidge. This is called Eeny, Meeny. Now this one is also, I think, kind of a longer series. Yeah, the 12th one in this series, you guys, comes out this July. So this is #1. Sometimes I can get overwhelmed with the number. Like, if I love this book, like, I have so much FOMO, and I feel like now I have to read 11 books to catch up. So sometimes that can slow me down, and then I end up picking up just a standalone. But I mean, I bought them because they all sounded good, for one reason or another. So in this one, we're following Detective Helen Grace, and 2 people are found abducted, imprisoned, and they're left with 1 gun, and only one makes it out alive. So what really has Helen Grace baffled is the randomness of these victims. And as she investigates, more people go missing. So I think it's kind of a race against the clock in this one. It says, Helen is familiar with the dark sides of human nature, including her own, but this case, with its seemingly random victims, has her baffled. But as more people go missing, nothing will be more terrifying than when it all starts making sense. So, yeah, this sounds really good. All right, last one I want to talk about today is The Vanishing Girls by Lissa Regan. This one, the 19th one in the series, comes out, I think just came out in January. This is the first one, so another kind of long, intimidating series, but this one we're also following a female detective. Josie Quinn is her name. What intrigues me about this series is all 19 of them are rated on Goodreads between like 4.2 and 4.5 average. So they're all above four stars, which is really promising. This one takes place in small town Pennsylvania. A missing 17-year-old girl is how the case opens. And as they're looking for her, they find her phone and they find a different girl with her who no one knew that she was missing. She's kind of mute and clearly distraught, so you follow that. Josie, for some reason, is currently suspended for misconduct, so again, maybe a little bit rogue cop situation. Interested to see why she is, what misconduct was, what did she get suspended for. But yeah, so she just takes the investigation into her own hands, and that's it. That's where we pick up on that one. So this one looks like a very long but highly rated series as well. So I hope some of those sound interesting. Leave in the comments any other detective series that you think I should look into and add to my my TBR. I love me a good detective mystery. So have you read any of these? What are your thoughts? And thanks for watching today. I will see you in my next video. Bye.